Have you ever looked back at your old code and just felt cringed? I remember this one time. I was debugging a feature I had written just 3 months earlier. It was a mess. No structure, no comments, no clear logic. I couldn't even figure out what I was thinking when I wrote it. That was the moment I realized something had to change. Not my tools, not the framework, not the tutorials I was watching, but my habits. And there's one habit I started after that moment that completely changed how I code. It's super simple and honestly kind of boring, but it made me way more confident, more efficient, and way less afraid of revisiting my code. Let's talk about it. The habit. Writing code deliberately. Not just cranking out code to make it work, but writing with intention. Thinking about why you're writing each line. Thinking ahead. Naming things well. Structuring with purpose. That's the habit. It sounds obvious, but let's be honest. Most of us don't do this consistently. We rush, especially when we're under pressure or chasing deadlines. Now let me break down how this habit changed things for me, with 5 practical ways it made me a 10x better coder. Number 1. I stopped writing code I didn't understand. Early on, I used to copy solutions from Stack Overflow or GitHub without fully understanding them. They worked, so I moved on. But when I started writing deliberately, I forced myself to pause and ask, do I know what this function is doing? What happens if the input is null? What edge cases am I ignoring? That small pause made a huge difference. It slowed me down at first, sure. But over time, I got faster and more confident, because I understood what was going on. For example, while working on an API handler, I used to just assume all requests would have the correct payload. Now I pause and structure the handler defensively, with validation, proper error handling, and clear responses. That's deliberate coding. Number 2, I named things like they mattered. I used to name variables randomly. We've all done it, especially while learning. Now, I treat naming like documentation. I try to name everything so that even a stranger, or future me, can read the code and understand it without needing comments. Better variable and function names reduced how often I had to explain my code to others. Pull request reviews got smoother, less confusion. Fewer "what does this do" questions. It's not about perfection, it's about clarity. Naming is 80% of communication in code. Number 3, I started thinking in layers. Before I'd jump straight into a component or function and just try to make it work. But now I zoom out first. I ask, what's the responsibility of this code? Where should this logic live? Is this UI logic, business logic, or data transformation? That kind of thinking leads to cleaner code, better architecture, and fewer bugs down the road. For example, when working on a React app, I used to throw API calls directly into the component. Now I extract them into services or custom hooks. That keeps the UI focused and clean and makes testing a lot easier too. Number 4, I wrote less code but solved more problems. When you're writing deliberately, you stop trying to solve problems with brute force. I used to write huge if-else ladders or bloated functions that tried to cover every possible case. Now I aim for simplicity and clarity. Before coding a feature, I spend 10 to 15 minutes thinking through the logic, sometimes even sketching it out in pseudocode or on paper. That pre-coding thought time has saved me countless hours of debugging and rewriting. Number 5, I reviewed my code before anyone else did. This one's underrated. Before I submit a pull request, I read through my code, line by line. I ask myself, would this make sense to someone else? Could I refactor this before someone else asks me to? It's like editing your writing before hitting publish. You catch awkward parts and tighten everything up. Let me give you a bonus tip. Sometimes, I leave comments in the PR explaining why I did something non-obvious. It saves the reviewer time and shows that I'm thinking critically about my work. And honestly, that's the kind of thing that makes people see you as a future team lead or project owner. It shows ownership. So yeah, before wrapping it up, let's summarize all 5 points that I applied to become a 10x better coder. Number 1, I stopped writing code I didn't understand. Pause to fully grasp every line before using it. No more blind copy-pasting. Number 2, I named things like they mattered. Used meaningful, clear names so the code is self-explanatory and easier to maintain. Number 3, I started thinking in layers. Separated concerns, UI, logic, data, leading to cleaner, more testable architecture. Number 4, I wrote less code, but solved more problems. Focused on simplicity and clarity instead of brute force coding. Number 5, I reviewed my code before anyone else did. Self-reviewed and explained decisions in PRs, making me look thoughtful and team-ready. The habit wasn't some secret hack or fancy tool. It was just this. Slow down, think before you code, and write with purpose. It made my code cleaner, reviews easier, bugs are less frequent. But more than anything, it made me feel like I knew what I was doing. So if you're in that phase where you're grinding tutorials, working hard, but still feel like you're not leveling up, try this. Just be a little more intentional with each line you write. It does add up. If this hit home for you, drop a comment and let me know. Or tell me, what's the one habit that made the biggest difference in your dev journey? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Keep building.